And welcome to the Fear Forward CEO podcast. I'm Tonya Gossage, and I'm so glad you're here for episode 4 of the new podcast series. One of the things that I believe with everything within me is that we grow faster when you're in a community, hearing other people's stories, learning what actually has really worked for them, and understanding the real journey behind their success. And the reason that is, and why we do guest interviews on this show is not to put someone on a pedestal, but to have a real conversation with someone who has done the work, someone who has taken the step, even when it's scary. And today, my guest came home from a 14-hour workday in 1988 to an empty house. He took everything. He took even her hangers. He did leave her clothes, by the way. A couple of days later, she threw herself a party, a real one, and not a pity party that was, because she decided she was going to write the next episode of her life. And I am so excited for her. Today, my guest is Franya Isley. Franya, I am so excited. I know we're going to hear possibly a little bit more about that story. Cannot wait to hear some of that as you talk about your journey. Welcome to the podcast today.
Well, thank you, Tonya. I love being here, and I cannot wait to um, dive into a little bit of my story and how I got started with things.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know I had you on one of my old series of podcasts a long time ago, and we talked about your situation. And people that want to hear that journey can go back and look up that podcast. And I know we'll probably reference a few things that were on that older podcast. But today we're going to take a little bit different. Look at things from your success, and again maybe repeat a few of the stories, but I want you to take me back today to a moment when you decided that you were going to build something for yourself, and what happened in your life that made you say, I'm doing this.
Oh, I was networking as a life insurance agent, and most of the people in the room knew that my passion was not life insurance, and it wasn't. And they said, "That's not your calling. What are you doing?" And I went, "I don't know how to turn what I'm doing, which is my passion, has always been helping women in transition." And they saw that and told me to do it.
I'd love that. I could totally take this entire podcast a totally different direction with that, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try to keep us on track. But
Oh, good.
what was your biggest fear going into that?
I'm thinking, I work, I've been talking to women since 1990 about their transitions, what they were going through. No one really wants to hear that or know what I want to teach will really help them. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah. No, they don't. Oftentimes, we get set in our ways. We're afraid to do things. They don't want to hear from other people. It's kind of what's up here. But was someone was there someone else who believed in you before you believed in yourself?
Out of that meeting, there were a couple of people who really, really believed in what I was doing, um, and told me so. Took me down to lunch and said, "This is what you need to be doing." And I'm like, "Okay." But like you say, the fear got into me, and I was like, "Oh, I cannot do this." However, my husband William said, "Yes, you can."
Yes, you can. How many times in our life have other people told us, You can do it. I believe in you, Franya. You can do it. But there's this thing in our head that keeps us back. That fear is a terrible, crippling thing. So what about the people that were closest to you? What were they saying to you when you finally made that decision?
They were super excited that I actually took action to bring my vision and my passion to life. And I was so excited that I did that too. Uh, that I that the fear that I was in my head was less than the passion in my heart.
Yeah. Franya, before we go into the next question, I think you're a lot like me, being a divorce coach. You being a divorce coach and me consulting like I do, and then running, multiple other things. I think sometimes we find, and just like the person that was telling you you could do it and they wanted it for you, I think oftentimes we find ourselves wanting things for other people more than they want it. And we're trying to coach them um, through confidence. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I agree with that because you live with yourself. It's the confidence you're going, it's normal. I live here, but you're not seeing their perspective and from their eyes. And
Yeah.
once you do, you're like, I need to just take a moment, stop for a second. And what am I looking at? What am I seeing? What do I need to see?
Yeah. I remember back when I was in high school and I was so petrified to speak in front of people that I would take a zero. And I remember those days being crippling.
Yeah.
And then looking where, you are today, where I am today, and I'm like, how crazy that was for me to be that way, because now I can talk to anybody, say
Yes.
anything, and do, you being the same. And so, we want things so bad for people because we know what's possible. It's just like you want, well, like a mama bird, just pushing them out of the nest. That's what we want to do. It's like, oh, we want it so bad for people, but they just have the greatest fears. And so, okay, so a lot of CEOs, and I'm guilty of, I feel like I over explain what a CEO is, but I feel like if you are an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, you're an affiliate marketer, you're a network marketer, or you're a hobbyist, whatever it is you do, you're a CEO, because in the mindset of somebody, I want them to think like a CEO, a leader, an owner, whatever. But a lot of CEOs listening have been in their businesses maybe 3 to 10 years, maybe less than that. But they're past the startup stage, but they feel like they're stuck. So, looking back, was there a moment in your journey that felt like that? So, you were stuck and you were just weren't sure how you were going to get out.
And yes, I was stuck. And I had to look at what I was doing and what do I need to be doing to move forward? Because you are running a business. How do you, especially being the entrepreneur and coming out of a corporate world, you've got a corporate structure. And now you're thinking, oh my word, I've got 24 hours. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
And you just like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. And I'm like, okay, look at what you're doing. I'm a divorce recovery coach. Where do I need to start? What do I need to start? Write it down. To me, typing it out is one thing, but literally pen and paper, your brain begins to start in a different direction, has a different value to what you're doing. Put your body at a different ease of, I can do this. I'm going to move forward with this.
Yeah. So, you know, talking about, getting unstuck, what are some of the things that you did when you were stuck to get unstuck? And then, what did you have to stop doing in order to move forward? Or was there anything that you had to stop doing to move forward?
For me to stop moving forward, I had to truly look at what I was doing and the fact that I can only do one project at a time. I
Mm,
can't do three things at one time. You can only truly do one task at one time. They say, go out and multitask. There's no such thing as multitasking because you can only do one thing at one time. I started time blocking things, going, okay, I've got an hour
I
to
love that.
do X, Y, and Z. Now, if I've got 15 minutes left on that X, Y, and Z, what can I do with that extra 15 minutes still in the same task? I start every day out with three main things that I want to get done that day. Now, yes, am I working on five different things at one time? Yes. So time blocking, an hour here or 2 hours there or 30 minutes to do this has helped me revolutionize what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think that's some good points. Time blocking is critical. And also for me, I don't know if you're this way, but I find if all of those things that I start trying to multitask on, um, start piling up, I can't multitask anymore. I mean, I felt like there was a time in my life in corporate I could multitask, but I have found I can't multitask. But if a lot of things start coming at me at once and I get stuck, I get paralyzed. I will just stop. I'm like, I'm stopping because I don't know what else to do. But I will tell you what has helped me tremendously in that situation is truly AI because I can get answers, I can get unstuck. YouTube is another godsend for me. YouTube is like the old encyclopedias. Honestly, I can
Yes.
go there for everything. I
Yes.
don't know how to change a tire on a vehicle, but I guarantee you if there was no one on the planet but me and my vehicle and I had a tire, I would go to YouTube. If YouTube and AI, that's where I would go. But I would have a tendency to procrastinate if if I had a lot of things to do. I just do. I procrastinate because I get to a point to where I see um, I can't move forward. I just freeze up. And so time blocking is great. Those are the things that help me get unstuck. So is there somebody in your life, whether it's somebody that's been in corporate, at the insurance company, somebody related to you, a spouse, a friend, that helps you to see things differently when these things happen or even happened back then?
There are, I network. And so there are
Mm,
people that I know. I have some referral partners, and I'm like, this is what I'm working on, but I need a different set of eyes. I need a different
love
perspective.
that.
I need for you to hear what my next video is going to be. What are your thoughts? So it's the people and getting that feedback.
I love that. Even I will add to that is accountability partners. I have some accountability partners that I love going to. You've been in my network for a while now. Having our power connector meetings, our meetings on Alignable, just having those people that we can go to in our masterminds
Oh, yes.
is is worth its weight in gold to be able to run those challenges, those questions by other people, and like you say, to get another set of eyes or ears on whatever is going on out there. Great feedback.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about fear forwarding or jumping off the fear bridge or getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I love talking about those things because for me, that's my whole philosophy. I've realized that going through my entire career, that's how I got there, is moving through fear. So, what about for you? Can you share a time when you did something that just scared you to death and it changed everything for you? What was
I was
that?
I was asked to do a video by myself. I went, no way in. No, no, no. I am not doing this. Again, that fear just paralyzed me. And I was like, oh, no. But then I realized fear, false evidence appearing real. And the first time I did a video by myself, that turned to face everything and rise. And those are the two
Oh,
acronyms for fear. So, are you looking at it with that false evidence appearing the real? And when does it go into turn into face everything and rise?
wow. That is powerful. That is so powerful. You make me laugh too though, because I've not thought about this in years until you said that right now. I was at a conference and they made us do a video. It was my very first. And we had to do it in couples. And so we did one and then turned around and somebody else did one, but we had to pair in couples. And I had somebody else go first and she did phenomenal. Of course she did, right? And then it was my turn. I can't tell you, Franya, how many takes I did. It was awful.
Yes.
I can still remember it. The wind was blowing. It was crazy. I'm still embarrassed over that today. And we had to do it live. I mean, we had to do it and then post it. And
Oh, wow.
then we were accountable when we got back in. It was awful. And so she's my bookkeeper today.
Oh,
And
wow.
we still laugh about it. It was so awful. But yeah, my very first live video was terrible. Um, but face everything and rise. I love that.
Thank
Love
you.
that. So, what would have happened had you not done that?
I would have still been going in circles because every day you're doing something and you feel like you're getting somewhere and you're in motion. And I'm going, I'm doing this, I'm going somewhere. And then you realize you're not going anywhere. And you're like,
Yeah.
wow, it just sort of hits you. And you're like, I did not move. I did not go anywhere. I'm just still in the same place. You still got that fear going on.
Yeah, but after you do something like that though, do you feel a little bit stronger? You're like, I did it.
Ye- Yes.
I
Knowing that
did it.
I had the strength and everything that I knew I could pivot if I needed to.
Yeah.
I, and when it was necessary, because there's times it's necessary to pivot, and you're like, I've got to do this. Or you look at something and you're thinking, that's not exactly how I wanted to go. Well, wait a minute. How do I pivot? Because a lot of people in the CEO world and in the entrepreneurship thinking, I'm on this path, I'm on the straight line. How can I pivot? Pivot is your friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree. So if there were a CEO setting on that decision or setting on a decision right now out of fear, what would you tell them?
Experiment. It's all an experiment. And then you try the F.A.I.L method. First attempt in learning.
Oh my gosh, you're full of them today. I love it. First attempt in learning.
Yes, you're going to
Wow.
fail.
I've got to write that down. First attempt in learning. I love that. First attempt in learning.
Yes.
First attempt in learning. So, any coaching that you would give them behind that? Or just that?
And it's just that. If you think it's not going to work, then that's really
Just
when it is
try.
going to work. Just try it.
Yeah, just try
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
I often say, you're not going to die. That's what I tell my grandkids. You're not going to die. Just try
Yeah.
it.
Just try it.
And then
Just
when
try.
you do it and you saw that you didn't die, I mean, it's a win. It turns into a win. You did it.
Yes. Yes. And you can sit back and be proud of yourself. And that's, I think, a lot of the CEOs and entrepreneurs don't do is, I did that. What do I do? I mean, I was so, shaking from doing the video. And I'm like, did anybody know that I was shaking? Did anybody know that I had this stutter in my voice? No, they were listening to you and what you had to say.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So back in 2024, when I created the phrase, get comfortable being uncomfortable, that was my phrase for the year. And then every time I would bump up against fear, I would say, I have to do it. I have to do it. And I was like, I didn't die. And then it got easier and it got easier. So I push through fear now easier than I ever have. Not that I don't still have fear, because I do. And there's some things I don't know if I'll ever get through it, like snakes or mice or things like that. I'm still petrified of those. Um,
Yes. So am
but
I.
roller coasters, I don't think I can ever get through that. Um,
That's my
but
favorite ride. I
oh, there
love
is no heck no. I used to think a helicopter, but then I got in Grant Cardone's helicopter, absolutely loved it. And I've been in many helicopters since then. But a roller coaster, no way. I just do not think I can do it. But I may try it someday, because I need to eat my own words. And my granddaughter's all the time trying to get me to do it. That is literally, a roller coaster is the biggest fear in my entire life. It really
Oh,
is.
wow.
But so someday in some year, I might have ride a roller coaster as my phrase for the year. It will have to be that for me to try it. I'm here to tell you, but
Yes.
it is my biggest fear of all time. Um, Bigger than even speaking in public was back when I was in high school. But so back to the main thing. So let me ask you this about relationships and growth. How important have relationships and referrals been to your growth? Can you give me a real example? Because to me, that's extremely important to the growth of an entrepreneur, a CEO, and growing a business.
Yes. It is, and the relationships and the referrals are very important. That is part of your system and your support of what you're doing. And you're, even if you need validation, they're there to validate you. And recently, I was talking to a young woman who was a marketer, and we were talking about my program, Do I Stay or Do I Go? And she said, well, have you launched that program? And I went, I well, first off, never thought about launching the program. And she goes, are you going to do a video? Well, if I was going to launch it, I didn't think about doing the video. And I'm going, I am working on those slides to do that video right now. So
Yep.
that'll be a future thing to see is the fact that and how many takes it's going to take me to do that. I will be not filming the back office stuff. You will not know that it took me 45 times, but
It
I'll
can
tell
be
you, it's probably,
edited.
yeah, absolutely.
Just know it can be edited.
Yes,
That's
I've got
awesome.
Canva. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yes,
That's awesome. So was there a
yes,
relationship, Franya, that opened a door for you that you more than likely would have not been able to open yourself?
yes. And it was through networking. Did I meet someone who asked me to come speak in person in Florida? And I couldn't have done that by myself. Somebody asked me to come speak. Was I terrified? Was I fearful? Yeah, it was my first time speaking in public, but I had the best time.
Oh, that's great. I love how those things open. It's so good. I always say you never know who you're going to meet at a networking event or how you meet somebody and then they open that door for you to meet somebody phenomenal. And it could be just in a relationship conversation, it could be in your next paycheck. You don't know how it's going to show up for you.
Right.
It's amazing at how one relationship can turn a trajectory for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was,
So I'm sorry, what was you about to say something else?
I was just going to say that that was one of my fears again was speaking in public. Now speaking on a video is one thing, but speaking when you've got live people in front of you, that is a whole different level of let me shake while I talk.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I do. And
Yes.
and doing a keynote too is different. Doing a keynote through a Zoom versus standing in front of people to do one is different.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You've
It
got live
is.
people, you've got live eyes on you going, and you can see faces, and you're like, okay, can I just look straight ahead and I'm not going to look at anybody?
So when I was in corporate, I I spoke to hundreds, but it's even still different today because I knew those hundreds versus being in a room and not knowing the hundreds. But
Yes.
we were always taught find one, find one in the room and focus, and then look over the heads of the others. And that is
Yes.
when you do something like that, it makes it so much easier, one or two, to look at and make that eye contact with, and then looking above the heads of the others until you get comfortable. It's so much easier.
Great
But
tip. I'll do. I'm going to keep
yeah,
that in mind.
yeah, it is. It makes it so much easier um, to do that.
Yeah.
So, who do you or what do you look for when you're deciding who you're going to invest a relationship time in? Is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
I'm looking for someone who will move me forward, who will give me their honest perspective and not what they think I need to hear, or not what I need to hear, but what I want to hear, opposed to what I need to hear to say, Franya, that makes no sense. That is not even part of your wheelhouse, or I don't even like what it says or how it works. Be
Mm,
honest because people need to know where they stand, even though you've got this idea in your head going, oh, it's a great idea. But then once you say it out loud, you're like, oh, maybe that wasn't so great. So having
mm.
somebody with that perspective is different than yours. That was what I look for.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm the same way. Integrity, trust, those are my top two core values. And
Yes.
I tell people when they get to know me, don't ask my opinion unless you really want it, because you're going to get the truth from me, not what you want to hear. Um, my mom comes Sunday morning, I'm there at her house and she comes out, she has on this outfit. And as she's walking towards me, I'm like, that does not look good together. And then she says to me, should I wear this together or should I wear it separate? And I said, you should wear it separate with that off. It does not look good. And so I was glad that she asked me because otherwise I was getting ready to tell her, you do not need to wear that little shell with that because it does not look good. And so I was
Yeah.
glad that she asked me so that I could tell her. Um, because otherwise I was going to have to tell her you cannot go looking like that. But I do like being honest. I would want somebody to tell me, so yeah, I sometimes could probably be a little too much, but I want people I want to protect people. That's the way I look at it. I'm protecting them. I'm doing what I think is best for them
Yeah.
and helping them.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes if they don't ask me, unless I know them really well, I'm not going to volunteer the information. But if they ask me, I'm going to tell them. I have, like I said a while ago, I have several accountability partners, and I have accountability partners that will hear things from people and they will call me with their feelings upset and they'll say, I was just told this. Is this accurate information? And if it is, I have to, you know, try to calm them down, but explain why that information is accurate or whatever the case may be. And so, yeah, I look for people who are honest and truthful and have integrity and don't tell me what I want to hear, but tell me what I need to hear to make me a better person. Um, I like people like that. I like people like you, Franya.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Because we can be honest with each other.
We
You know, we
can.
we've built that trust, and it does have to do with some trust also. You can't just walk up to a complete stranger going, I don't like that shirt on you, or that does not become you. And it's different words that you can use. You just don't have to walk up and say, ooh, I hate that, opposed to it doesn't become you. There's different ways of putting that, but it's like you said, it's knowing that you're friends enough, you're confidants enough to be honest, to move you forward, to say, I needed to hear that. Whether I wanted to or not, I needed to.
Hmm. But I may be friend enough to you that if you've missed two belt loops, I might say, ma'am, I just wanted to let you know you've missed two belt loops in the back
Oh,
and give you an
absolutely.
opportunity to fix it. Because when I get home and notice that I missed two belt loops and I wore that all day and nobody told me, I'm going to be frustrated because I wore that all day and nobody told me.
Right.
Um, And so I am the friend that I'm not a friend with that person, but I am that friend that will tell somebody, hey, you're walking around looking silly. You need to go to the bathroom and fix your belt loop.
Yeah.
So that I am that friend to somebody. Okay, so back on topic here for leadership. A lot of CEOs, Franya, that I have worked with feel like the bottlenecks that they are the bottleneck in their own business. And honestly, a lot of us are or have been the bottleneck in our business. Have you ever been there? And if so, how have you worked through that process of
Yes,
not
I've
being the
been
bottleneck?
not being the bottleneck. Well, oh, well, yes, I have been the bottleneck, and having to think, how did I get here, and how do I get myself out? And to me, that is knowing your superpower and what you are best at doing, but also learning what to delegate. So I can focus on using my superpower in my business to move it forward.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that you use Claude and Claude Cowork as well. And you've been using Claude much longer than I have. And I've heard you talk about prompts that are what 30 something pages long. 25
Yes.
pages long. You've got some long prompting with Claude, and you know all about automation, but there's so much out there today. And I just want to take this second to educate people that you don't have to be the bottleneck. If you don't even have a team to delegate to, you know, there's systems that can be created today, workflow automations that can help you not be a bottleneck. And so, so what type of advice do you have for somebody who feels like um, that nobody else can be like them or do things like the way they do it?
Well, and you have to look at what you're doing. And let's take social media because everyone's on social media and you're thinking, I can do this. I love doing this. Is it really where you want to put your energy? Do you need to delegate your social media to someone else? Or do you time block with your AI? In my case, it's Claude. I'm going to do social media on Tuesday afternoon. I'm doing the next month, and I'm only taking 3 hours to do it. How do you make that a delicate dedication to what you want to do? And to know that if you want something done and you don't want to do it yourself, then is it time to teach others to be like you, to what you want? Is it
Yeah.
time to teach your AI how to do it for you and you do it? Because done is better than perfect,
Hmm.
and no one's going to know it's perfect or not perfect but you.
100%. I talked to a CEO the other day, and his business is growing, beginning to scale, and he told me he had a problem being the bottleneck. And I said, "Do you have people on your team that you can delegate to?" And he said, "I'm afraid to." And I said, "You're not alone. There's many CEOs out there just like you." And I said, "Let me ask you this question. Do you have somebody on your team that can do the job 40 to 50% as well as you?" And he said, "Probably." And I said, "Start delegating to that person and keep a close eye on what they're doing. If they're only at 40 to 50%, maybe do a daily check on what they're doing. Get them up to 60% as good as you. And then, loosen the rope and maybe check on them twice a week, then get them to 70%, move them up, and you're not checking on them as much. Eventually, you're going to get them to 80%. You may never get them past 80%, but 80% is well enough that you only need to meet with them, every 2 weeks or every month. That is as good as you need to get them. And then stop being the bottleneck. And then look at the next task and do that same thing. And you will have so much freedom, so much less stress. Or can that be automated and automate it and give that person that I was just talking about a sales role, or let them do something else? Don't get rid of the person. Use them in other areas where they could be great. And
Yeah.
so he really liked that idea. And so I really hope that when I see that person again, he has started implementing some of those things. But that kind of rolls right into or sets that up for the next question that I have for you. But as we go into the close of this podcast, and I appreciate you being here, but what is one thing that for me, my avatar is a growth ready CEO, but I would say every CEO, but what's one thing that a CEO should do differently starting tomorrow?
Well, I'm going to be a little rogue here, and I'm going to give you two things to think about.
Very
And what
good.
the first one is a little old fashioned, you may think.
Okay.
Get out your legal pad, You're going to draw a line down the middle. And on the left side, you're going to write down what's working. And on the right side, what's not working. Something that you need to delegate, something that doesn't work in the system anymore. Look at that. Second, step outside of yourself.
Mm.
What would I tell a friend in the same situation
Mm.
with the information that you have on your legal pad? Are you targeting someone in your business and you're thinking, oh, well, I need to go after bookkeepers. I'm doing this, that, because I need bookkeepers. But then all of a sudden, you've got people who are coaches and tax preparers. Wait a minute, I've got another coach. I've got another coach. Look at your last 10 clients. Who were they?
Mm.
What worked with them? And continue with that. Because if it isn't working, it's never going to work.
Mm-mm.
And pushing up against that wall is like hitting your head on the wall over and over and over. Figure out what works and writing it down. Again, it's that motion of writing it down helps, and seeing it helps you determine what your next step is.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. That may be a little old-fashioned, writing on the piece of paper with a pencil, but it is very valid and it is very good. And thank you for that. So, Franya, in close, as we wrap up, where can people find you and follow your work and get more about what you teach, especially if they're looking and needing a divorce coach?
You can find me at my website, which is SheroEmpowered.com. I'm on Facebook at Shero Empowered, or my name, Franya K. Isley. And I'm on LinkedIn as Franya K. Isley. I'm on Instagram as Shero Empowered.
You're a busy woman, busy woman.
Thank
Well,
you.
I appreciate you, Franya, for being here today. And this is exactly what I was looking for, something real, something practical, something honest. And I appreciate all of the feedback that you gave today. And honestly, that last bomb drop that you gave, writing on the left, writing on the right, the things that need to be reviewed, that's very powerful. And the first attempt in learning. I love that. Absolutely love that. So thank you for showing up and giving this community something that they can use today. And so, for everyone listening, I hope that you heard for yourself something in the conversation that you can take away. And definitely the fear, the pivot, the decision to keep going for sure. That is what Fear Forward looks like, absolutely in real life. Episode 5 is going to drop next week, and we're going to be back. Well, actually, we are not going to be back with the system side of the house. We are going to have another interview, and I'm looking forward to that interview. You do not want to miss it. And until then, I want you to build trust, make connections count, and fear forward. Until then, do exactly what you need to do, and that is move through fear, jump off that fear bridge, and fear forward. Bye.